Now, I would like to introduce the one, the only, me.
Hey, what up there, squiddies? It's Dre, Tattoo Squid Podcast here with Santos and the 88 Miles Per Hour Podcast. Woo. How's it going there, Santos, in Cali?
Yes, that's right, Southern California. For those of you who are wondering where in California.
Yeah, we're getting all blurry in this motherfucker right now because he's blurry behind him. I got the blurry behind me. So
it's because we're too embarrassed of our house.
It's not that. I mean, because every time I go and do something in the back of the thing, like the picture, every time I throw my hands or whatever, it disappears.
Yeah, I am, so that's why.
I'm unique. Oh no. But
he's like, I'm missing my hand.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh shit, where the fuck did I go? Oh damn it! It's like a fucking squid took it. I'm like, son.
Yeah.
But welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's like, we're in Cali, so we're just gonna go and finish up, I guess, what you were just talking about.
Yeah. No, because what I was saying, because you had mentioned that your episodes you record and you don't put them out till like a month or two later, because you're like building up. And I was pointing out, I was like, and it's like it's so weird. Like I'm not used to that, because like when I started 88 Miles Per Hour Podcast, when we started doing this podcast, was in January of 2014. Either late January or early February. I forget now, but it was in 2014. So that was fucking long ass time ago. So back when it was just like, it's like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? Sure. You come on, boom, you post it the next week. But anytime I've guested on a show now, like everybody's like, oh, hey, this was a good episode. I'll be posting in about a month or two. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck? We still do it the old school way. So like, let's just say it was reverse and you were going to be on 88. I'm like, hey, this is, we have nothing in the bank. We record weekly, so it's like you hop on, hey, just let you know next week your episode's gonna post. So like I'm just not used to this. So we're like, I know I have a buddy called, he does Mega Man podcast. That fool fucking constantly too. He's recording and he's like, yeah, I'll record, and he has like 8 in the bank, just like you. You have like fucking just in your holster, you have about like 8 episodes. You're like, I'm just in case, because if you can't make it one week, you can fucking post a podcast. I mean, look at us. I got so busy this weekend. Like, I didn't even get to post the episode today. And see, you're like, nah, I don't have to worry. If I didn't record, here's one from last week. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, my girlfriend's the one that mentioned it. She goes, hey, why don't we just do this, stockpile it, so that way when you're taking a vacation and we're going out somewhere, I'm like, okay, yeah, and then we could just put like a random one. But I do it in order. So, like, I look at my calendar, I'm like, okay, who's the next one? And I just go at that. And, most of them were like, oh, when is it going to come out? And I'm like, in about, like 3 weeks, But, and what's fucked up about it, I don't edit anything. That's what's fucked up about it. I don't edit anything about it, so.
So it's like, because I do, just because like you got to add the intros and like if we talk about a movie and shit,
I'll do that for the audio. Like I'll put intros, promos, sound effects, this, that, whatever I find, and that coincides with the episode. But with the video, it is what it is.
Oh, okay. So like if we record like, let's just say an hour and 5 minutes, that video is going to be an hour and 5 minutes plus the intro and outro.
Well, yeah, no, for the video, it's just that. That's it. It's just the video of this. There's no intro, no outro, no nothing.
Okay, yeah, so, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I start talking about, like, it's like, oh, yesterday I pooped my pants, and I'm like, hey, don't take it out. You're like, nah, it's all in there, It's too bad. No editing.
Yeah, we caught. There was a couple instances of somebody, we were talking about something, And we're like, then we thought about it, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, shit, I don't even know how to fucking take it out. You know, so then I had my girlfriend come in, and like, because she's so used to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. She goes, yeah, we just do this and this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we did it, but I'm trying not to be able to get to that point again. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus it's easy because you don't have to worry about editing, because that's the hardest part for me is the fucking editing. It's a lot of work, you know, because sometimes I gotta like tweak the audio, like, oh, it's too low here, too loud, or you know, it's like it's so much work.
I mean, I was like, because when I started out, and I was doing it on my phone, and that was it, like audio. That was it, just like in my car, on the phone, record, fucking just say whatever is on my mind. And that was it. And then I did like 100 episodes of that. And then, you know, and everybody's like, well, how was it? You did every week? I'm like, sometimes I did almost every day, like a diary almost.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm here, you know, outside work. It's Halloween. I should be out trick-or-treating. Blah, blah, blah. You know.
Get some candy.
Yeah, get some candy. It's like, but then like the whole month of October, I'll do like a movie each day, you know, for the 31 days or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool.
And that's how fast I got to like the 100th episode. And they're like, wow, you did that fast. I'm like, now, and then hopefully this next season, I'm going to be doing a game show.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so it's going to be well, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm not going to use the thing, but basically that's what it looks like. Well, there goes the blurriness, but yeah, that's what it looks like. It's called Movie Game.
That's cool.
So a couple of people that made it are in like on YouTube, and they got their own thing, and it's called the Valley Folk.
Okay.
The guy makes the whole thing, and it's like descriptions of movies. So if you're like a movie buff, it works well, you know, for you, you know, to go by the standards of it, and then you figure out the description of one movie, and then you got to kind of put them together with another movie, and it's like a really fucked up way of doing it.
Yeah. So
yeah, we call it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pit, you know, like podcast versus podcast. So
that's cool.
So then the winner goes on to like the next round, and then the following week or the week or the week after or whatever would be the next one. So it won't be like every week. It'll be every other week.
Yeah.
Because that way I can get the episode art, and then I can, you know, put that out there and say, hey, this is what it looks like, you know, and then we get down to, you know, like semifinals and then finals, and then I think I have like 20 podcasts, I guess, that want to be on it, I guess.
Oh, well, there you go. Shit.
So I asked them, I was like, listen, I just need names and that and emails and whatnot to do whatever.
Like, who's gonna reign supreme of all the podcasts?
Yeah, but also I kind of like, you know, picked out the ones that I know we call movies, so they can be able to get it pretty good.
Oh yeah, because you're not gonna have a true crime podcast on, because they're gonna be like, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, there is like one or two of them as it is.
Yeah.
But,
well, meaning like you just want to make sure whoever you have on knows movies, you know, like has a knowledge of movies, because if they're on and they're like, I don't know,
yeah,
they're gonna lose. It's like, there's no fun. They're just
I'm like looking at them like, and folks, we call it when you hear this, and I'm not putting anybody down, but I just don't want to have it going on for like an hour and a half, and then we're still waiting for that person to go, Even though it is going to be timed, I'm like, oh, time's up. Okay, what do you say? You know, and then, and go on like that. So it's going to be good. So now I can be able to do the screen thing now, and to be able to do that whole thing. So
yeah,
I was like, aha, now we got it. But yeah, so basically, you know, we're just doing like what we're doing now. And let's talk about 88 miles per hour. Actually, let's talk about the podcast you had before, because that's the shirt I have. Well, I don't have it on.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, technically, there's two versions to that podcast. All right. So when we started that show, it's the Brothers Bear podcast of what you're referring to. So you have the rebooted version of what the podcast is. Because back when we started the show, it was just gonna be me and my little brother. So that was gonna be the way the show is now, like, you know. And at that point, I was listening to this radio show that I was a huge fan of, two of them actually, and they were called the Kevin and Bean show in Los Angeles and the Frosty, Heidi, and Frank show, right? So I thought, like, you know what? It's like, if we kind of have that third person, they're not necessarily a part of the show, but they're just there, kind of like that. You know, like every morning show always has someone in the background that joins in and talks, like, you know. Yeah. So it's like, I thought we'd do that. So I had my buddy join us, and he came on for an episode, and we had a lot of fun. We just fucking laughed, talked, and it was very geek related comedy, pop culture, and stuff about what was in entertainment news at the time. And we had so much fun. We're like, oh, let's just continue having them on. So we did that. We did that for a while. We ended up doing the show live in a studio where first the network was like, hey, you guys should come do the show here. We did it for a while. They let us go. They brought us back, and then they let us go again and shit. Like, you know, and it was fun. And then in 2016 is when we just, you know, we stopped doing it at that point, because I was like, if we're not going to do it live, like, I don't want to just go back to being in a room and recording the podcast. So we went on hold. And then around, you know, COVID 2020, we did a reunion episode, and we're like, we're going to come back. But then during the whole thing that was going on with like I won't get into too much detail, but like, because of what was happening in 2020 and with like Black Lives Matter and everything and Trump and all that, like our old co-host, we saw a very bad side of him that we're like, all right, you know, it's like back when you talk about the earth is flat and shit, like, all right, yeah, that's fucking funny, whatever, you know. But the stuff he was starting to spew and say was like, nah, that you're just fucking far off, bro. Like, we can't associate that shit with us. And then there is a certain thing that happened with one of our fans that he started arguing with. At that point, like, I'm like, I talked to my little brother, and we're like, no, if we're gonna bring back this podcast, like, we're gonna start over. Let's just get rid of him. Like, let's move on from him and rebrand the whole show, because it's one of those where it's like, you know, if we continued having all the old episodes and you're gonna tune in, you're gonna be like, why do you have that racist on the show? Like, that's what the fuck. So at that point, we just, you know, let's just fucking delete all 200 and whatever episodes, got rid of them all, and started from scratch. And we rebooted the whole show, and it was just episode 1. We make a small mention of it. You know, we did post about it long ago and stuff, and it was just one of those, we just started over, because it's just like, yeah, we didn't want have that association with it. So, you know, all those episodes are lost. There were a few that I recorded with my little brother. So like, I posted an episode of me and him. Like, it was a Christmas one that we did together, and it was just me and him. So I was like, I feel free to like be able to post this episode. But yeah, it was just one of those. So that's what happened. So that show's still going on now. It's just because of my schedule, my little brother's schedule, and like just the way it is, fucking having kids and a full-time job. It's hard to record. So like, I have an episode that I recorded last week with my little brother, and I wanted to edit this weekend, but I worked the weekend and I just had no time to get home and edit. I was so fucking tired that I was like, shit. So it's just like, it's just hard to get shit out. You know, it's like,
yeah, especially I believe me, I understand that whole thing, because I was like, the way I do mine is, and then you know, like you were saying that you did like old school, you know, like you do the episode and you put it out. You know, basically that's what I'm gonna do with the game show one. You know, because that one you had to see like constantly before, you know, anything else. And then so that's what I want to do that. But then this one I figured, okay, it's fun. I'm just gonna have all these guests and then just place it around. And but what I usually do is like when I go and do the whole thing, and then when I get to the point of the episode, I'll do the episode art like maybe a week before. You know, just get that whole shit going on. And I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that. Save that. Boom, it's in the phone. And then when like Friday or Saturday comes around, or even Sunday, I would go and just do the video, and then and I'll have it on the screen. I'm like, okay, I got the video done. Let me go to Anchor and then do all the shit over there.
Yeah.
And then once that's all done, then I'm like, okay, post that, post that, and then get on my phone and post that, and all three of them are all done on fucking Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it makes sense for you because you do an interview show, right? So it's like you could just be like, fuck, I have an interview Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So you could just go back and just fucking just fill up your holster with all these episodes and getting ready to fucking shoot them all out when you need to. Yeah. Or it's like, for instance, like my little brother, the one that we do, the Brothers Bear with the shirt that you have, for that current version, we talked about Doctor Strange and the multi. So it's like, that's one we're not going to fucking post a month from now because it doesn't make any sense to post it a month later. You know what I mean? So like we have some currentness with our shows where it's like the one that for this one, 88 miles per hour podcast, we just, revisit movies, but sometimes what we talk about before we get into it might be current. So it's like, it's another thing where it's like, I'm not going to wait, the most I ever wait is about a week at most. It's like, but I understand, like, it makes sense if you're interviewing. There's no current timeline unless like they're promoting something that's gonna be like, oh hey, in 2 weeks, so they come on to promote it. That makes sense. But other than that, fucking my shit could be posted in like 2 months. It wouldn't factor because there's nothing that's gonna affect the timeline on that.
It's more like like a therapeutic, like getting to know the person, and plus also like if people that listen to this and they don't know, like, oh, who's 88 miles per hour? And then you get to know him, and it's like, oh, man, he sounds pretty fucking cool. It's like, maybe I'll check him out, and then other ones, like, I think the two craziest ones I've talked to, Trash Panda. Yeah. And just yesterday, was There Is a Better Podcast. Those were the two.
Wait, which one? You cut out. What was the next one?
There Is a Better Podcast.
There Is a Better Podcast, and then Trash Panda.
Yeah. So those two were the most craziest ones.
Really? Well, I guess we'll find out as to why. I mean, because it's like you could either tell it now and people won't be surprised, or you could just be like,
"No, I mean, hey, this is tell it now. That's not a problem." Like Trash Panda, when I had like the two of them, I didn't know it was three guys in the podcast. I thought it was two. Yeah. So the other guy. Oh shit, I forgot his fucking name. But anyway, he got onto Zoom through a different server part on his end. Yeah. But he was on his phone. So he goes, oh, I gotta pick up so and so, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I figured he was gonna shut off and then go pick up his friend. No, he brought the phone, and it's like going on a scene of Cops. Like he gets his car, the phone is like looking straight at him while he's driving, and it's like that whole video thing, and he drives down there and he goes, oh wait, I forgot to go and get the Bang energy drink and hot Cheetos, and he stops at a convenience store, and I'm like, with the phone in hand, you hear ding 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 ding.
What the fuck? He didn't even put it on mute. Shit, at least I would have done that.
Well, no, he just like he like folded it back so that they wasn't showing the store. Yeah. So they won't be like, oh, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, okay, no problem. Oh, $250? Okay, here you go. And then the other guys are like, what the fuck you doing? You're taking us on a ride over here. We're on his fucking show. Yeah. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm like, hey, it was all cool,
Okay, I want hot Cheetos. That's all it is, right?
Yeah. And then There Is a Better Podcast. It's like there's three of them, but they also they have like knowledge of different shit. But they also have some funny quirks. But they're all, I'm not saying they're always on top of each other, but it's like the big discussion with them. They always discuss everything together as a 3-person tier, But then when they were on the show, it seemed like they almost took over the show. Yeah. like I'm sitting there and they're like, oh, Dre. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like looking at the camera. I'm like, folks, I do have a show. This is my show, actually. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we just kind of took it over by accident. We're so sorry. And I'm like, no, dude, do what you do, man. That's it. And even when they said, oh, you don't drink, so, we're not going to go and drink. I'm like, no, do your thing. That's what you do. I'm not going to tell you not to, do your shtick. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like me, if I go on theirs, I'm like, I'm just gonna be like rambunctious like I always was. You know, I mean, right now I'm low key because, you know, being from doing work and all miscellaneous shit. Anyway.
Yeah.
But and gas prices, folks. You know, let's just have like a teleporter tube and then go, you know, get teleported to work and back.
Oh shit! Seriously, right? Why can't? What? You remember the Fly? That was the purpose of the Fly.
Yeah.
In the remake, he would get car sick. That was his thing. He had motion sickness, so he wanted to develop a way to have to travel without having to get car sick. So he developed teleportation. Like, where is that shit now, man? That would work out, you know, as long as they fix the issue. Because I don't want to get morphed and become like a Fly 2 or some shit. But you know,
you're sitting there on the couch and you're like, I'm getting better, you know. So, but yeah, then what was it? The hover. You know, cars with the
where's the flying cars? 2015 already came. Back to the Future lied.
Yeah, the Cubs won too. I don't even know. If
the Cubs, right? They did win though afterwards, right?
Yeah,
after they won.
Yeah, it was like 2 years or 3 years afterwards, or
after the
like
fact,
it.
Right? Yeah, it wasn't. They almost could have won. They almost always won all the time, but fucking the curse of the Bambino, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of told the future almost.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it did, you know, but we didn't have the flying cars. You know, there's a DeLorean somewhere, you know, and actually, it's funny. I saw in my not the apartment complex I'm in now, but there's like one that's around the corner, and this guy has the Knight Rider car.
Oh, that's awesome!
With the light going.
Yeah, kid.
Yeah.
Hello,
like, I rolled down the window. I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. You know,
that's fucking badass.
I was nerding out. I'm like, oh, Michael Knight, and I'm like, no, Chicano. Okay. Because I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that shit to have like hydraulics and go like this.
Oh, watch out! Right, like a lowrider, Knight Rider.
I was like, oh shit. I mean, they did that. We called it on Knight Rider at one point, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
They made a hot rod. They made
lowrider Knight.
Oh, Knight Rider. That's gonna be on the episode art. There we go.
There you go.
Knight Rider, folks. If you don't know what Knight Rider is, go to Tubi. You know, Tubi has every fucking thing. You know.
Yeah, if you want to know who this David Hasselhoff is, where he came from, that was the show that blew him up. That was fucking.
Well, that and his singing. You know.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying, like after the fact, but where he started his career, was Knight Rider. After when he gained that, you know, because most people, I'm a star now. Fucking, I'm gonna go try singing, and you know. But for him, it worked out. Fucking, he was huge in Germany.
But then they were like, you know, you say David Hasselhoff, they're like, oh, Baywatch. I'm like, yeah, but that was after.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. He wasn't fucking Baywatch, huh?
Yeah.
So it was Knight Rider, huge fucking show, 80s. Yeah. And then the 90s, boom, fucking
Baywatch.
Knight Rider. Yeah, I mean that was it, because he didn't fucking do, you know, the 2000s. He was all drunk and shit, eating hamburgers on the floor. So you know, it was a different Knight Rider at that time, right?
I want McDonald's, please.
Yeah, I just remember every day, dude. They would play that clip.
Kid, come on. Deliver the fucking food.
Yeah, he was like, it was sad though at the same time, because it was his daughter who was filming him, and she's like, "Tell me you're going to stop." He's like, "Huh? Nope." And he's just eating a fucking burger on the floor. Just, are you so good?
Are you recording me? Are you recording me?
Yeah. Oh shit! For those of you who don't know, just look up fucking David Hasselhoff drunk video, and you'll know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, that gives a whole new term to that fucked up show that, you know, that has like rednecks and everything on. What's
the Intervention?
No, not Intervention. What the fuck? Jerry Springer.
Oh yeah. Ooh shit, man. That was like in the mid 90s or late 90s, like 96, 97 was that shit fucking blew up.
Yeah,
it was huge. That you know, I was in high school at the time when that shit came out.
I love the fact that they had now. Since we're going back in time, MTV,
watch out.
MTV.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. You know, it's like we got to bring it. You know, I understand. Okay, you know, YouTube's out. You can watch any kind of fucking video you want to watch. You know, but it's like when we grew up, you're watching Headbangers Ball. Well, me, Headbangers Ball. But then you're watching like every kind of show, like Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah, 120 minutes.
Yeah, 120
MTV
minutes.
Unplugged. Like, dude,
Yeah.
like there is so much good shit. Fucking. Of MTV back in the day, man.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, we're not showing. They got MTV, but it's all drama shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like,
it's like they had that, you know, and that was fine with the Real World because it was only one show. And yeah, every now and again they would throw in another fucking show. I mean, but still, the focus was always music videos. It's like, yeah, you had like some animation, like fucking Beavis and Butthead and shit, the Maxx and Daria and whatnot, like, you know, the head. But then you also had some like the remote control, like game shows. They had one that was like where you would lip sync to the music. You know, liquid television, like it was just weird ass fucking animation that I love. Oh, dude, like, but
Alien Flux.
Eon Flux, and that's where Beavis and Butthead came from that shit. You know, but everything always went back to the music. The music was always the focus, and then at some point in the 2000s is when it started to change, because even the late 90s where people were like, oh, fucking MTV, they still had TRL and they were still doing, you know, music videos, but it's just, I don't know, TV shows. They just realized like the Osbournes were fucking blowing up, you know, so it's like Jackass was blowing up. And then shortly, like a few years later, then they did like, what's that fucking, the Jersey Shore. So when you got these shows that are reality TV where you really don't have to write scripts and shit, you're like, hey, fucking, this is what's making us money. So I understand as a business plan for them, what's going to work for them, but it just sucks. Like, you know, you can't call yourself fucking music television anymore if you're not fucking showing music. And then when you have the MTV Music Awards, like, like for what? I mean, what music videos? We don't see them unless we go online. Like, what the fuck? It should be called the YouTube music videos. What the fuck?
And even we call the stuff that I'm like, who's that? I'm like, nowadays, I'm like, I don't even know. I mean, okay, I like the 80s. I like the 80s rock. I'm pretty much like a metal guy all through and through.
Oh, right on, yeah.
You know, so I'm like, I'll listen to like, but then I'll listen to anything, you know, I mean, except for country. But anyway, you know, I'll listen to like, you know, rap and you know, and I was watching these compilation fucking reaction videos, which I'm planning on trying to doing, folks. You know, I'm gonna have a friend of mine help me out with the OBS situation. You know, so I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. Well, anyway, so I was watching this, you know, the videos, and they were like, oh, we never seen this. You know, I don't understand that. We call people watching, doing reaction videos, and they never seen Rage Against the Machine, or they didn't see like Metallica, or
right. That is so weird. Because there's bands that like we know were fucking everywhere. That we saw all the time on radio, MTV, whatnot. And then when they do, like I see the rap, I'm like, really? Like they don't know about fucking like Rage or Smashing Pump, 9 Inch Nails. Like, like what the fuck? Like, okay, like, you know, but it's so weird. It's like, all right, you I mean, you know, you say you're like hard rock, but you probably know some 80s, like, you know, Oingo Boingo, right? Fucking all right. So Danny Elfman performed at Coachella. So he did Coachella, and a lot of people like had no idea that this guy who fucking did music for movies was like, oh, he was in a band before this. Like so many young people, they didn't even fucking know, like, oh, this guy did The Simpsons. Like it's so crazy, because it's like, yeah, it's awesome that this new generation is finding, but at the same time, it's so weird seeing people not knowing like history of it. You're like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, especially if I see like a Metallica, you mentioned Metallica. You're like, a Metallica one, like, fucking Metallica was one of like the biggest bands ever. Like, fucking, they were like mainstream, dude, like of the rock.
But then this is like, you know, Master of Puppets they're listening to. So like the earlier ones, which is fine. I mean, I love the earlier ones. And they were playing, you know, Master of Puppets, but they had like all the lyrics coming up. Yeah. So they're reading the lyrics, and then they're like, chop up your breakfast on the mirror, and they're like, And I'm like, yeah, you. I'm like, fuck. What the hell? And I'm laughing at this shit. I'm like, holy crap. You know, and then there was this one guy, I forgot what his name is, but they always stop it every time. They'll go, and then all of a sudden the guy just sitting there, he's like, bro, he goes, that's bars. That's bars. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, everybody does bars. Now you're figuring this shit out? I'm like,
right. So, all right, yesterday when I was working, like, I was just like, I wanted to listen to some tunes. So I ended up putting the best of 1996. And at one point, fucking, you know, Metallica Load popped up. What's that? Until It Sleeps.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned, like, you know, fucking old Metallica. Were you one of those that were like in this album Load when they cut the hair? And were you one that's like, fuck Metallica? Or did you be like, nah, I'm on for the ride. Fucking, I'm with you guys.
I hate it when they cut the hair.
Okay.
I'll tell you that now. I hate it, you know, but I didn't really listen to the newer stuff. Like, say, Metallica's Black Album was like, that was like the only one I listened to until the newer ones they did after that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I did not listen to any of the new stuff, and because I'm like, once the classical, you know, orchestra that they were doing, I'm like, oh, really, dude? You're gonna go there? You were going against the grain. You know, you got beat out by oh, I can't remember that.
Jethro Tull?
Yeah, Jethro Tull, when they beat him on that, and I'm like,
heavy metal.
You're going in that route. I'm like, why? You know, you give it a flute, and now you got a flute playing in the background of your music. I'm like, that was it. I'm like, once, like, you know, because I remember, oh my God, there's a we call it a street that me and my friends, when we were younger, we always cruise around. You know, everybody done this. We call it, you always cruise around depending on what state you're in. Yeah. You know, you cruise around looking for as we called them, chippies back in the day. But you know, but,
I hear you.
You know, you're cruising for, like, you know, the chicks and everything else. You're going around, and all of a sudden after, we're just like put in the CD of Metallica's like Ride the Lightning, and, you know, like Fire and all that, and you crank that shit up and driving like a 1978 Trans Am, you know, up and down the street, racing people.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you can't even do that. You're like, oh, they got grandmas going. I'm like, come on, let's go. You know, in the Prius. I'm like, the fuck.
It's like, do like, all right, because I don't know what the youth of today is fucking doing. My kids are too young for it. Yeah. But like what you mentioned, I did that shit in high school. Like, we get in a car, and we had CD players at that point. So we got to, before we hit the gas, you're like going through the book. Like, what do we put? My buddy loved the Misfits, the older school Misfits. So he fucking put Static Age on or some shit like that. So we'd be listening, you know, and whatnot. And just driving around, going to the movies, trying to find, you know, girls that, I guess, chicks, if you want to say, but fucking, you know, it's like, but do kids do that now? Like, high school? Are they going in a car, driving around looking for girls, or they're just like, nah, send a text, like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. I mean, nowadays they're on the computer, they're talking to everybody, they're on Twitch, and they're like, hey, let's meet up somewhere, you know, whatever. You know, I'm still trying to figure out fucking Twitch, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
you can make money off of that, so figure it out, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I'm too lazy, but fuck, imagine, you know, fuck, dude.
I seen other podcasters doing it. They're playing games and everything else on there, and then they're like, well, we don't know how we got on here. I'm like,
you can make some money. I don't know how, but, you know, play some video games.
Yeah.
There you go, dude. Just listen to Metallica and tell them that you're gonna, I don't know, review it for them.
I've been trying to see if I can get, like, celebrities on and all that, but everybody's like, I mean, there's somebody that was telling me, like, oh, if you're trying to get, like, sponsors, don't go and tag them on Twitter. I'm like, well, it would kind of help, you know? And it's like, no, just email. I'm like, that's too much, I don't know, too much work. I gotta look for their email and corporate, and, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't even bother with fucking sponsors. I'm like,
No, but
at the same time, I don't want sponsors. Here's why: because I do a song of the week at the end of every episode. So okay. I just play some fucking tunes, some hits. Sometimes it's based off of whatever the release of the movie is. So I'll be like, all right, this is the song. Like for instance, we did Stand and Deliver, the movie about the math teacher over there needs to lay. Yeah. So we did that. That's the one, our newest episode. So what I ended up doing was, instead of the fucking the teacher who inspires you, I went the opposite, and I went with The Wall, Happiest Days of Our Lives, with leading into Another Brick on the Wall. So I'm gonna put that shit at the end of the episode. But if I have sponsors, I can't do any of that shit anymore because they're gonna be like, "Hey, wait a minute, you're making money." Fucking Pink Floyd's gonna come after me, be like, "Hey, bro, where's our?" So it's like, that's why I was like, you know what, I do it for fun. I rather do shit on the side that gets the attention where I can make money off of that. Like both me and my co-host, we both started like a clothing line and shit. Like I do designs. Like a lot of the artwork is all me, but I started doing those designs and putting them on shirts and selling them, and it's been going well. And my buddy, my co-host Freddie, he actually has a stand where he'll go and he'll fucking have like merchandise, like his style of wear that he wears and shit like that. Yeah. And that's how he makes money. But also too, he performs. He's in a tribute band for a Depeche Mode tribute band. He's the lead singer, so he fucking has a huge show at the Orange County Fair. And that's where he gets, so it's like our focus is we're doing this to lead people to go to our other ventures. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's like, one, it's impossible now because there's so many fucking podcasts. It's hard to make money, off of it. It's like, so, and then also too, if you're going into it to just be like, I'm going to do this to make the money. Like, hey, that it's like as if I'm saying I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket to be a millionaire. Like, nah, it's a fucking, do it for fun. If you make money, hey, that's fucking cool. All right. Hey, orale, but fucking, if like, but honestly, go in for fun, because if you're only going in hoping to make money, like, and this is like not just directed towards you, this is like your listeners, to be like a word of advice, if you're going in thinking I'm going to be rich, make money, get sponsors, you're going to have a miserable time, because when that's not happening, you're not going to have fun recording. But if you go in just because I want to talk, like the way you started your show, I started my shows because it's like you wanted something to say and have fun and put it out there. That's always the best way. So when shit happens, it's just an extra surprise. You're like, oh, watch out, like fucking the treasure chest open. But if you're expecting that stuff and it doesn't come, all it's gonna do is upset you. So just go out and fucking record, have fun. If things happen, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. At least hey, you're still having fun. You just don't lose your love for podcasting. That's what I say.
There you go. Now that is brought to you by the letter F. Yeah.
There you go.
For fun. Yeah.
Fun, yeah.
Well, no, that's what I was doing, because and funny that you brought that up. We call that, I went to a place where they sell like either rental equipment or just equipment in general. And I'm like, because I was trying to do that lapel, the microphone thing or something, try something different. And I'm like, oh, I want to get this, and I got it. But then they're like, oh, you need the transmitter, you need this and whatever. So the guy comes up to me and he goes, oh, so what kind of business are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing a podcast. It's like, yeah, it's a business. I'm like, no, it's a hobby. I'm like, I just want to have fun with it. He's like, no, it's gonna be a business. No, I'm like, no. And then the wife and his wife was just going like, just like, oh, okay, who's doing the next volley for tennis? And I'm like, I'm like, all right, whatever, so you're not going to help me? It's like, sorry, and it's like, if you want to do the podcast, and here it's $125 an hour. I'm like, I don't have the money,
Yeah,
but I got my own shop as it is. We call it, you go to like Threadless, and actually they have shower curtains.
Oh, okay.
with my face on it, the cartoon thing, like, hi,
Yeah.
So probably looking at you right about now, no, but but also, everybody's like, shower curtains. I'm like, yeah, and bath mats and a whole bunch of different shit. So they're like, oh, we only got mugs and what the hell they're fucking called? The tumblers, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, the tumblers and all that. I'm like, you know, I got the stickers, I got the mask thing, even though people don't really wear them as much now anymore. And then, you know, shirts and all that shit. So, but
yeah,
I just follow everybody. And like I said, I got your shirt. I got 2010 minutes. You know, wait, hold on, before I do anything else, I got to put my honorable mentions in there. Oh, turn the page. Nope, that's not. It's a Metallica song, but no, it's something.
That's what I was gonna say right now. I'm not going back to Metallica.
No, actually, it's a different song. I mean, actually, it's the same.
Oh yeah,
it's a different guy.
Yes.
You know, which I forgot the fucking guy's name is.
Because it's a cover, right?
Yeah, it's a cover, all right. Yeah, it's I just can't remember the guy. I think he was in the Doobie Bros, I think, but I can't remember.
Something about turn the page.
Yeah. So you know, like 2010.
Bob Seger, right?
Yeah, Bob Seger. There you go.
Yeah, Bob Seger. Yeah, Turn the Page. Originally sang, by Rob Seger, but then Metallica did a cover of it.
Yeah, and then we get
the Garage Inc.
The Brothers Bear, not Grimm. Not the movie.
We tell you fairy tales.
Yeah, we tell you fairy tales, and they come true, and then you have to go and get the whatever and be in the grave.
In which you were one of the last people to have access to our shirt through that one website, because that website where I had the shirts was it's one of those where like I put it up there and then they get the fucking majority of the money. I only make like $2 per. Well, now it's like all that's removed and I have them on my store now. So everything that's bought through me, it's like, okay, now it's even where I get a good portion of it, where it's actually helps put to the fucking podcast back in it. But yeah, so and then I'm gonna start doing more, because the image you got, with the old podcast, there's a third person in it, but I removed him, so now you see me and my little brother. I did different versions where like a Star Wars characters, Marvel characters, fucking like Christmas characters, Halloween characters. Like I did all these other versions that I'm gonna end up putting out there, so it makes it like just like a fun different logo where it's like you see me as fucking Yoda or some shit like that.
I can't even get that shit the way. I mean, for me, if I was gonna do it myself, it's gonna be like stick figures or some shit, because the guy that did it, like actually this one, that did this, he did everything with the squid, with the suit, and the tattoos, and I'm like, and he did it on the computer. I'm like, shit, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Yeah. So I'm like, that's why I try to find some other people that, because I want to get one that says Squid Army, and I got like a whole bunch of fucking ideas, but
that's the one thing that's hard for you guys, is that where for someone like myself, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me, I'm cool. No, it's just like I'm just, because of like I'm able to design and shit like that. Like I don't have to rely on going and be like, fuck, I need to find someone, pay someone, or this and that. And that's like the hardest part. Like for you, like you mentioned, like I could only do stick figures and stuff. So it's like, if you have an idea, like you can't put it out there. You have to hopefully find either someone that's willing to do it for you, or you have to pay to get it done. And that's the toughest part, because I'm coming across that a lot of with like, with podcasting, it's like unlike back when, it was such a fucking competition back when. Like you really didn't make friends with podcasts like back in the early days, but now you kind of do. Like you become a camaraderie, like friends and shit like that. But I notice a lot of them like are like, man, like I struggle, because it's like I want a logo or this and that, but I need to pay people to do it and stuff. I'm like, man, that sucks. Like it's like I just we're lucky for my show. It's like, if I have an idea, I'll just fucking do it myself. But a lot of people don't have that luxury to be like, shit, like, designers will charge you a lot to fucking do it,
And sometimes they won't. I mean, there's like other ones I talk to, they're like, oh, we'll do it for like, this X amount of money, or this one like that. But it's not, even, it's like about the same amount that you pay for your gas now. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, you can do like $50 for gas, or you can do $50 for a shirt, or something, or some kind of like a drawing or a schematic or something.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like the ones that I got, because I'm like, I see everybody else's like shirts, like 2010 minutes and Hops Geek News and Four Nerds by Nerds and all that, and yourself, we call it. I was like, wow, these are fucking cool ass fucking shirts, and I'm like, I mean, mine is pretty cool too, you know. But I just did it from, you know, threadless. Yeah, I just put the thing, and even sizing it, I didn't know how to fucking size shit, you know, for a computer wise, and then send it out there. It's like 2,000 times 2,000, and
yeah, you know what? I made that mistake based on my shirts because I did some test prints, and I had my design too high to the top. So like I realized like, oh fuck, I should have did like 3 inches lower. But like I have like test shirts, and I'm like, yeah, whenever I wear my, you know, because you and me, we got the goatee and shit, you know, it hides my shirt a little bit. I'm like, fuck. But you know, if anybody orders my shirts now, don't worry, like they're fixed, so it's lower. But it's just again, I was testing. That was the one thing I had to learn the hard way. It's like, fuck. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to make sure everything's measured properly before I could fucking add it onto a shirt.
I know, it's just like. And I'm looking, I'm like, I need to get like a good shirt because you know, I was saying to my girlfriend, and this is like when I started doing the shit by myself. I'm like, you know, I should do some kind of shirts. I'm like, no, do it when you get like, you know, you sowing your oats a little bit or eat whatever the term is, and you know, you get a little bit more flavor into it. And then now when I'm doing the interviewing thing, now I'm like, all right, let me do the shirts now. You know, and I didn't have to do anything with it. Now all I gotta do is just, you know, and thanks to Josh at 4 Nerds by Nerds helping me, we call it, you know, size the thing, so I would not be able to get the shirts the way they are.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's cool. I like that. I like the design.
Yeah,
I like how it looks on the shirt.
And they had there was like one I made up where it was like. It looked like a kid fishing, but it had like the Tattoo Squid podcast, like in like the sunset coming down, and then the water and all that. So it was like a ripple effect. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go and do this one. And then I had this one and a one I made up where it's like, I think, did I send you stickers or no?
I don't think so. In which, thank you for reminding me, because a podcast sent me stickers. But no, you didn't send me stickers, but I need to take a picture and post it. I feel bad, dude. I got so behind. I have, but no, you haven't sent me pictures.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Stickers.
All right. So we call it after we do this, we're done with this, and we call it, then I'll write down the address and give you mine and do the whole thing. And folks, if you're listening to this and you're a podcaster and everything else, you know, don't be shy about it. You know, you can talk to me. Just send a DM on at podcast Tattoo Squid, and we'll exchange like addresses and send the stickers back and forth. Because that one board I have is almost done, and I want to get a new one, but might have to wait until we move. So
yeah, like you know, for those of you listening, say you're just you're listening for the first time because say you're a fan of 88, but I gotta say that for me just fucking tweeting out there like, hey, you know, Brothers Bear shirts, I got some shirts, better. Yeah. And right away, like he just fucking went out and bought a shirt, and that's like full on just supported the show. So yeah, like this guy's fucking. That's how we got to this point where I'm on the show, was, you know, because he fucking decided to like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna support you and I'm gonna buy a shirt, and I was like, holy shit, you know. So like, yeah, this guy. So don't be afraid to you know, he's a fucking cool guy, man. He's not gonna be like, oh, you know, get your address and show up at your house with a pizza or something. No. He'll send you some stickers. He's a cool guy. Trust me. This is Brothers Bear /88 approved.
There might be a hole in the bottom.
Like the popcorn.
Why is it all salty here? I'm like, shit, I don't know. It's so buttery. You sure that's butter? I don't know. You know? Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's that cheesy butter. Yeah,
it burns a bit, but you know.
Oh, I'm gonna get reprimanded. I can see it right now. But anyway, so, so what is your favorite? Let's go with the questions now, since this is like somebody has dubbed me a late night talk show host of podcasts, supposedly. So, what's the movies that you would go to? Like, if you got home and, you know, or not if, but when you get home, you know, you're like, you know, I'm gonna watch a movie, but I don't know what, and then you just click on the TV or.
All right, so So I'll give you the two main ones. All right. So I got for my fucking all-time favorite movie of all time favorite is Shawshank Redemption. That's like, I love that fucking movie. Shawshank Redemption is like one of my favorite. It's my top favorite films. There's so many that I have in like my top 10s that I could watch over and over. Like I love fucking like Rudy, Iron Giant, Back to the Future, Monster Squad, shit like that. But the Shawshank Redemption, you know, all the way. When it comes to like 80s movies, my top 80s movie of all time, it's like people are gonna think like, oh, 88 Miles, oh, watch out, fucking Back to the Future. Nah, it's actually Monster Squad. I love Monster Squad. I love fucking, because it's one of those, it's the Goonies fights the fucking Universal monsters, and I wish it would have been a bigger hit because we probably would have gotten a sequel or something, you know, more stories. But I love that.
Imagine Goonies versus Monster Squad.
Well, that would fucking be. I mean, you know what? It's like, that's what sucks. In an alternate universe, that shit exists. That movie's real. But I love Monster Squad. Second would be Back to the Future. You know, it's just like that's what I'm gonna be watching if like I had to pick all-time favorites. Those are the ones. I just enjoy those. You know, like they're good stuff. It's like I've never been a fan of horror. That's one thing. Like I grew up with just being fucking scared all the time. You know, fucking when you're a kid
at the time. That's all. No, I was kidding.
Well, see, here's the thing, man. Like no one, kids, like my kids aren't gonna experience this shit. When I was little, we would go to the video store and there was the horror section. So like all the box art. I mean, you know what's up. 70s, 80s box art looked fucking made the movie look 10 times better. You know, but it was scary, and I was just scared walking through that aisle because obviously it wasn't gonna jump out and get me, but I was scared to walk through that aisle, you know. And like, so horror movies always scared me, and I didn't really get into horror films until like my sophomore year in high school, so around 1997/98. Is when like the first time I was introduced to the Evil Dead series. Like my buddy introduced them to me, and I was like, "Ooh, fuck, these movies are good," you know. And it's just like, so yeah, horror. Like, so if you have any horror questions, I like that's the ones where like I didn't grow up watching really horror movies.
No, that's why I always said. That's what I was saying. Because like what movie and all that. Because usually I start out, I'm like, "Are you a horror fan?" And that's what I usually start out with. But I'm like, let me just go movies and then see what happens, you know. But because everybody has like the comedy and everything else, and especially if they watch this or hear this, you know, they're gonna be like, oh no, you know, he likes Born in East LA, yeah.
Well, see, for us, Born in East LA, I actually have it in our new logo, and the reason why is there's two movies in our logo, Scarface and Born in East LA. The reason why is Born in East LA is our most downloaded episode that we have, like. People just fucking wow. He's like, I want to hear Cheech Marin, you know, fucking East LA, you know. I don't know what happened, but fucking everybody. And then Scarface, that was like the first movie that my co-host Freddie did with me that led us to be what we are now. Because in 2000, like I didn't give a history of 88, but you know, there's before I took it back, like we started in 2014. I had an original co-host. It was a female named Renata. Yeah. And then from that point, she had no time to record anymore. So I brought in someone else. And at one point, she just completely left the show. So I brought in another co-host, one of my friends named Maxx. We were doing the show. And then at that point, he was going to be gone. I met a coworker who worked with me who loved the 80s. So I gave her a trial run, like, hey, you want to record an episode with me? And she did really well. So then at that point, it was myself, Maxx, and Chelsea recording. And then roughly around 2016, things changed where, you know, schedules changed, or it was hard for me to record. So we ended up taking a huge hiatus. Like also too, like in 2016, I did in 2015, I did a cosplay with my family and we blew up. We went viral. So we like became famous online for our cosplay. So we were going a lot of places, getting invited and stuff. So it just became hard to record. And then at that point, we had a tragedy in my family, and it really like stopped us also from recording until 2017. 2018 was like completely no episodes. They wanted to continue recording. They started recording on their own. And I said, sure, go for it. But whenever I'm ready to come back, I'll come back. So there was a whole series of episodes for 2 years where they did the show. And then I got a new job, and it opened me up to have more freedom. I wanted to come back, do the show, and they weren't having it. And it was like, it became drama. Like where I was building a website, where we have a website, it's the Brothers Bear Network. You can find out everything about all the podcasts, in which I haven't updated it. So you could still see the old version of Brothers Bear on there. But like, so I wanted to add, you know, links and shit, and they wouldn't give me the passwords. I was like, dude, like, give me the passwords. And it got to a point where they're wondering, like, how is their 88 associated with Brothers Bear? I'm like, one, it's my show, but two, it's a part of the network. Like, what's wrong with you guys? Yeah. So at that point, they got tired of it, and they say, you know, fuck this, and they bailed. So 88 just sat there. Like, literally the day after COVID hit, where everything got shut down in March or whatever. Yeah. That's when the show just ended. And I was just like, all right, I could either just say, fuck it, 88's done, or I could just pick it up. So I did. I brought it up. I picked it up, and I started asking people I knew to be guests on the show. And Freddie was one of them. And we ended up doing Scarface. And at that point, it just became like, hey, you want to continue doing it? And it gradually changed. 2020, it's a mixture of me doing the way I used to do the show before, and then trying to changing it up, because I used to be serious about the episodes, where I wanted to give you so much trivia, try to teach you so much about the movie behind the scenes, where it's like, that was my focus. Once Freddie came on board, it kind of started getting silly, but like we weren't catching our groove, but then we finally did. And by 2021, like the show just became a whole new thing. And it's like, and yeah, 88 miles per hour podcast. Like I put a best of episode of the year 2021 and 2020, but it's like you could tell the difference between the shows and then that's why, like, so when you look at our logo, the new one that I made, you got Born in East LA and you got Scarface images on there. Why? Because it's like, you know, it holds a history to us. Now, people might not know why. They're just going to be like, oh, look at these guys. They're fucking East LA. Oh, I get it. Purdy, you know. No, it's just, it holds history. If you're fans of the show, you know why that's there. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of like a quick, brief history of 88 miles per hour pod. If you go to the website, brothersbearnetwork.com, and you hit the 88, you know, and you could read the whole history as to what happened. It's all there, you know.
Yeah, because that's what everybody's like. They were saying about, like, oh, not about me, but like people were wondering, so is there anybody else that's helping you out? I'm like, no, it's just me. That's it. You know, I mean, yeah, my girlfriend helps me out, like with editing, like we were talking about before. Yeah. And, you know, like the certain things, but I wouldn't even put her name in. She goes, do I have to put my name in? I'm like, no, we'll use like initials, you know, and then that's it. You know, like mine would be Tattoo Squid Podcast, whatever. And then this one was like produced or like done by, you know, SMS, which honestly is like text messaging. You know, if you think, guys, SMS is text messaging. It is. So, you know, and then she's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, all you got to do is just, you know, do that, and that's it. So she was helping me with that, but then everything else was like me just talking, whatever, blah, 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 and everything else. And then, you know, she's like, what are you going to do for the second season? I'm like, I think I'm going to do a talk show kind of thing. You know, she goes, really? I'm like, yeah. You know, just get and see how many, and I am like so humbled and honored that everybody, you know, they could have said, no, fuck it, you know, why should we be on, you know, because you're like a no one, you know, because I just started out, you know. And then they're just around, they're like, all right, cool. And then this is like what did I count up? I counted like, probably this is like 67 or something with the interviews. So, yeah. And I'm trying to get up to like 80 or 90 or 100 or whatever, you know. And the funny fucked up thing is, I wanted to go and do a Zoom chat with like the 100 people that I did the interview with, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be a clusterfuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to maintain that one.
Yeah, so I figured I'll just leave like that and probably do some kind of I don't know, like a mural kind of thing of have every podcast person that was on, and just do that whole thing, and then
that'd be cool.
Me in the background, because well, they somebody else has done it, which is 10 minutes, but that was a great idea that he has, and I figured I'll just capitalize on it. So I'm not going to get anything for it because it's a fun thing to do. So that's it. But and then music wise, now we're talking about Metallica. We're talking about Metallica, no, but but is there like certain music that get you and do you use it like to motivate yourself, to do the podcast? Like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. Then like, oh, let me just put the music on. Oh, I could do this now. Yeah.
You know what's weird? It's like when it comes to music, all right, like I don't really have anything to motivate me for the episodes because it's just movies. Like literally I'll watch a movie and then that gets me ready. So like I don't listen to music as I used to back when. Like I feel it's so different where like before, like I like just fucking putting in a CD, or I had on my iPod and I could just play shuffle or create playlists where it's hard to do that shit on your phone, especially like on Spotify or Apple Music and whatnot. It's just, I don't know. It's just different. Like before, like, cause I was all about music back when, like fucking everything music, like music was my life and shit like that. Like, and for me, like a lot of my music involves keyboards and shit. Like I love synthy sounding music and industrial, dark wave, synth pop, synth wave. Like, so I like a lot of like, fucking, for those of you like the mainstream, like 9 Inch Nails and shit like that, but I love a lot of the new wave 80s music too. But like where I really listen to music is I listen to a genre called chill wave, and chill wave is just as it sounds. It's just a fucking, like, it's just chill, dude. Like it's the music. It's like, it's very synthy a lot, but like, and when I'm drawing, when I'm designing, when I'm doing my stuff, I'll have Pandora open. I'll have chill wave station, and that just fucking playing it in the background as I'm drawing. Sometimes when I'm editing too, my podcast and stuff like that, like that's where the music is really inspiring right there, because I'm listening to it and it's just like almost background for me, and I'm just like working, and it's calm, it's relaxing. Like when I used to work out, I wouldn't listen to music because I would just do podcasts back when, because it's like you would think like, oh, I need something to pump me up, but it's like, no, I need something to pass the time. I want to be out here for an hour running. Let me put on a podcast. So back when I would do like the Kevin Smiths and shit. I haven't worked out forever, but back when I used to fucking run 5 miles a day and shit like that, I would listen to the old Smodcast back what was around, Todd Glass and shit like that, early episodes of the Nerdist. So that's what I was listening to. But yeah, music, it's just different. Like, but I love filmmaking and I wanted to be a filmmaker and stuff, but it's hard for me. But that was one of the things for like a lot of my 2000s, the era of the 2000s and so on, where like music inspired me. Like I would listen to music and I would think of something like, oh shit, and I would create a story based on a song, and then I would film it, and I would do that stuff. So like, I that's how music inspired me when when I need to like create an idea for a music video, a movie or something, and then I was like, boom. And I've done that many times where I would just listen to something, I'm like, I got the idea, this is what I'm gonna shoot because of the song.
No, that's cool. We call, because I mean, I don't really have anything that motivates me. I'm like, all right, I got a podcast to do. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, and half the time I'm like, when I do like a reschedule here or something, and I look at my calendar and I'm like, okay, I gotta go. And then all of a sudden, and I have a bad tendency to like remind people like the day of, where I should remind them like a week before, because a month later, and folks, when I go and ask them to come on a show, it's usually like I'll have it, kind of like when you do, like a talk show thing, like they get guests coming on, but then they place them in the days that they have slots open. So that's the way I'm looking at it, and that's how I'm doing that, and I'm like, okay, well, I got availability in June, and I do on Fridays and Saturdays. So what would you prefer? And
well, see, that's the thing. Like, it's so hard right now because, like, going back to the beginning of the episode, like we fucking, wrap it all around, right?
Yeah.
Where in the beginning of the episode, we talked about how you record and then you got your episodes fucking a month in advance. Like, all right, I'm going to post this in a month. Another thing too, that's so different with a lot of these new shows is they'll hit me up and they'll be like, hey, we would love for you to have a guest. And I'm so used to being like, if I'm going to have someone on, I'll be like, hey, you want to be on the show? Are you free next week or the week after? Like, I'm like right away. I want them on as fast as possible. And then, but most shows, like I know, like, and that's what threw me off. And I'll mention that right now, but I get a lot of like invites, but it's like, hey, we'll do it in July. We'll do it in August, in September. And I'm just like, wait, I'll get like, hey, what are you doing on the week of whatever September? I'm like, I don't know. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? I'm like, sure, I'll be on the show, but you got to remind me. So it's like, and I was supposed to be a guest on this podcast, but my boss tends to schedule us pretty early at times, or like I'll be a month sometimes in advance. And I completely forgot to put in the request right then and there. So the next thing, you message me and you're like, hey, are we good for Saturday? I was like, oh shit, I'm scheduled. And it's a Saturday. No one fucking wants to, it's like everyone wants to have that day off. No one's going to go in. It's just like, so I was like, fuck. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm available Monday. But it's just because it's like, for some reason, podcasts are so right now about booking months in advance for some reason. I don't get it. That's cool if it works, but it's so weird because it's like, I don't know. Am I going to be ready like in fucking August? I don't know.
I mean, there was times where, people are like, like obviously they go and turn around like, I completely forgot. Oh, I had to plan this and this. And I understand that. I mean, that's all cool. We can always do like a rescheduling thing or whatever. And like you were saying, like if you have something going on, like say, oh, I got like Geek Exploration, we call it, I had them on. And they had a Kickstarter that they were doing. And it's like, oh, when's this coming out? And then I told them, it's like, can we get this out like maybe by next week or something? I'm like, oh yeah, so I'll put them in first, and then I'll have the one I had originally I was gonna put on, and I'll do it like the following week, But now I'm looking at the third season, because I wanted to do the third season like say in September, and have like a month off to do, get everything situated. So now I might have to go and do like all the ones that I have done. Might have to go and do 2 a week to post.
Yeah, I hear you.
So see what happens and all that. But we're getting to the end of this mayhem. Not really mayhem. This like delightful like stature of talking about different things, from tacos that are not tacos, and donuts that are not donuts, and folks, Danny Trejos has a taco restaurant and donuts and coffee. If you're in the same area as my friend here, Santos has like, he's there, but he's not going to go there.
It's like, I want because I mentioned to him that, all right, look, Danny Trejos Tacos, it's like, it's very, bougie fucking, like, the hipster fucking tacos. It's like probably $5 a taco, $6. And like, nah, o sea, yo quiero unos tacos. Nah, fuck that. I'll go down the street right here, fucking the guy Jose right there, fucking get unos tacos de asada. Fucking $1 right there, boo. Fucking $1, $1.25, nah. Fucking, I'm not gonna pay no $7 a taco. Nah, get out of here. Fucking, estás loco.
I'm gonna get a plane ticket that's like $900 just to go and get that $1 taco.
Seriously, dude, fucking right here, no lie, right here. I'm on a street. It's called Holt right here, and then almost every night, especially Friday, Saturday, fucking, it like almost like they're all separated, but there's all these taqueros right there. Fucking, you want some quesadillas, fucking some tacos, like burritos. Fuck, dude, they got it all. Like, they're good, dude. The lengua, cabeza, chorizo, asada, pollo, fucking, es pastor. They have them all. Everything you want, they're fucking there, dude. Like, they're good, and that's why, like, why am I gonna go to Danny Trejos Tacos and go fucking spend that? Like, nah. It's like I'll go one gas, nah, get out of here. But the hipsters, they're like, oh, tacos, like fuck yeah, you know, Trejos Tacos, all right, give me a taco, you know, fucking whatever. Yeah, you want to do that, go for it, you know. And Danny knows, you know, he's not gonna get like fucking Los Chicanos that go there and get his taco because he knows, like, nah, they're gonna go get their own tacos. I'll put them here and I'll sell them to people who are gonna actually pay that much because it's like, nah. So yeah, but it's like the donuts I would do just because they're fucking donuts. Donuts, hey, you know, yeah, I'm a sweet tooth kind of guy, like, you know. So if it's a good, because we have a famous donut shop that's off of Route 66. It's called the Donut Man. And if you ever watch specials about the top donuts in the United States or Berta, that one's always on the fucking list. It's called the Donut Man right there. Also, too, where my parents live, where my hometown, where I grew up in La Puente, there's this place called the Donut Hole, and it's a landmark now, and it's shaped like a giant fucking donut you drive through there. I'll go. They have this fucking donut. It's like a bar, right? It's a bar, and on top it's like the chocolate. It has little chocolate chips, and inside they put fucking more chocolate in the donut. It's so fucking, that's my favorite donut. So I'll do, you know, Trejos donuts and shit like that because it's a treat. You drive, you know, you go, but for the tacos, like, nah, I'll go here, you know.
I wonder if they like air deliver, you know, the donuts.
Right? Fucking yeah. What is it called? You know, fucking. Do you guys have Uber Eats or DoorDash out there?
Yeah, we got Uber
They probably do,
but,
right?
Yeah, but if you're gonna send it to, like, say, Long Island, you know, like, hey, we don't have the Trejos, you know, donuts, but send them my way. You know, Danny, come on, hook a brother up here.
You know, I guess.
I'm gonna put him on Twitter and say, hey, can you send some Danny's Trejos donuts and maybe some coffee? Because honestly, in Long Island, New York, like you were talking about, like the little corner areas, you know.
Yeah, down the street, yeah, right here.
I mean, the only thing that's like corner right here, you know, is like, you know, basically this, you know. That's.
Hey, I don't mind Taco Bell every now and again. You know, I love Taco Bell. Actually,
you don't see it's funny. You go to Taco Bell, you're like, okay, I want this. Like, all right, no problem. And then all of a sudden, there's that guy who's like, hey man, how you doing? Yeah. Okay.
So you guys don't have like people just propped up about like around the sidewalks or somewhere around like where they're selling like stuff?
Man, I wish.
Really? Oh, that fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the only time you see something like that in the only thing that we have is like hot dog vendors. That's it, with the trucks. That's it.
That's still cool, but I understand. See, I deliver weed for fucking, that's what I do for my job. I deliver weed around. So I'll drive around all of LA, Hollywood, and certain areas.
My address. I'm like, okay, hold on.
And here's the thing. When I'm working, like I worked Hollywood yesterday. That was my area, all of Hollywood. No lie, like almost every other corner is a stand for something, and it's not just tacos. Like no. Like they have like there'll be one, like I know there's this one that I really want to go to where like, and it's crepes. They just fucking do crepes. That's it. Yeah, like there would be ones where it's just barbecue. They got barbecue, they got fucking tamales, they got, you know, churros. Like, dude, they got all these types of different versions of food of what you want. Like, there was one, I even saw one that was just corn dogs, just different style corn dogs. Another one was just popcorn, kettle corn. It's like, and that's what's cool. Like, and that really bums me out on your end. Like, that was like, oh man, that sucks, because that's one thing that you're missing of just like the city of itself, where, you know, like I said, I could go out and go to one of these stands out here and get some like good, like fucking, you know, food, street vendor food that you don't really have that. And there, you know, I just want to point out there are moments where they're fucking assholes, or the cops show up and they fucking take all their shit, throw it all out, and they give them a fine. That's fucked up. They're just trying to earn a living. But you know, but other than that, it's like that's how you support. Out here, it's like, fuck, dude, it's so good, man. It sucks, but you know, you got me hungry now. After this, dude, I'm gonna go get some fucking food. I haven't had lunch, so the moment we're done recording, dude, I'm gonna the family, I'm gonna get them, and we're gonna go get some food.
Yeah, because I go, I'm like, I got my I just had like meat sauce and rigatoni. but not to get you hungry or anything. But we could, yeah, because the stuff that we have, like I said, there's like hot dog vendors, and I forgot what the phrase that my girlfriend says, and the reason why I got my phone out, because she usually texts me and tells me like, it's this, something like dirty water dog something or other, that she always says it for the hot dog vendor thing with the trucks. It's like, what? You're just gonna get some dirty water dog? I'm like, but it's some good shit. And
wait,
then,
so so they're making the hot dogs in water?
Well, no, they have them like like boiling water kind of thing. They have it in there, and then
that sucks because every area has, like, meaning like states have their own style, or cities are famous. Like ours, we got the street dogs, so they're cooking them almost like on like this flat like skillet grill or whatever, like and they wrap them with bacon. And they're fucking cooking them, and then they give it to you. They'll give you the bread, and it's your choice if they'll get like grilled fucking onions and peppers. They'll put it all on top, and then they'll squeeze fucking mustard and ketchup, whatever you want on it. Like they have it there. But those are street dogs, and they're like, sometimes when I deliver in downtown, and like I got a building, I'm like, fuck, I got to park here and walk over a block to the building to give the fucking order to the person, but I'll pass by. So I was like, all right, cool. After I give the order, I'm gonna walk by to my car back. There's a taco and be like, hey, I mean the hot dogs. I'll be like, fucking give me a hot dog, and they're good, dude. They're like fat. The hot dog, they're fat with the bacon and the bread, and I just asked for mayonnaise and ketchup. So that's what I'm saying, dude. I'm hungry. Fuck, what the fuck? We're just talking about food, man.
I know, it's like, you son of a bitch. I'm not coming back on this show again. Yeah, we're gonna talk. Don't talk about food again. But we could tell everybody where they can find you at. All
right. Yeah. So you can find us at, we're 88 miles per hour podcast for the movie podcast, where it's me and my buddy, two Chicanos, who hop into our DeLorean and travel back in time to revisit the movies and music that we grew up with and love. And every week we pick a film and we revisit. We don't review, we just revisit. We go back just to talk about like the movie, what we loved about it, any memories and stuff like that. So that one, it's 88 miles per hour podcast. You can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on Instagram. We're 88 miles per hour, 88 mph podcast there. It's our most interactive of way of what we're doing outside of the podcast, where I'll post videos, silly clips and stuff. I usually make them, like I'll do little music videos, I'll do like special things, and I'll put it out there. And it's the best way to just see. It very much, I don't know how to put it, but like if you want to know what 88 miles per hour podcast is about, that's the best way. Also is the Instagram. And then on Twitter, we're on there. It's 88 mph pod. So one is podcast, the other one is pod. 88 mph pod, 88 mph podcast. Also, too, the other show we mentioned that I do with my little brother, it's called the Brothers Bear Podcast. It's a comedy show where two brothers talk about everything that's in the world of geek entertainment, but we also talk about how our lives are now, being fathers, having kids, and how we try to continue being the geeks that we grew up in while being, parents. That one, Brothers Bear Podcast, again, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can check us out. Like I said, it's a comedy show, and we just talk, reminisce a lot of the geek stuff we grew up with, so it's a little different than 88. Also too, that one, we do have an Instagram, but that one I just post mainly silly videos, like fucking a funny video, and I'll just post it. And then so it's a Brothers Bear Podcast. Twitter, I don't really use the Twitter much for that one, so I'm not going to give you that. And then also too, if you want to check out, I started doing t-shirt designs, mashup shirts of La Loteria mixed with like the music, goth, industrial, pop culture, movies. So like you want to check it out, it's sanchdesigns.com. You can get some shirts. The Brothers Bear Podcast, or 88 miles per hour podcast shirt is there also. So if you go there, check out our shirts, we have them there. And for the month of May, based on, I don't know when this is going to air, but if it happens to be posted in May, if you buy a shirt, you'll be entered into a contest where you could win a free shirt and some stickers. So yeah, so it's sanchdesigns.com. So yeah, so and other than that, you could check us out on Instagram, sanch_designs on Instagram. But yeah, so and that's everything.
And also, since you brought it up, we call that about the whole thing in May. Then I'll put this before, so you'll be the first one to have, well, second actually, to be ahead of the game instead of a month later. So yeah, so this will be like next week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do like that because I didn't know that you had like something that's going to be happening in May. So like I said, like something like that.
Yeah.
When I go and put something like ahead of time. So if it's going to be something.
Oh, right on. Awesome, man.
Yeah. So we'll do that. And then, but if it's just like something that we're going to bullshit, whatever, and blah, 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 then it'll be down like in a month or something.
Oh, yeah, of course. Okay, cool. No worries, man.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, we call it, in the beginning. It's like, there is like times where I'm going to go and do that. Like, all right, you want to do it first? Boom, you'll be first. And then,
yeah.
You cut the line from the rest of the people that want to get onto the Gravitron or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Gravitron. Oh, anyway. So, and I forgot about me. I always do that. You can also follow me. Go into Linktree, linktr.ee/Tattoo Squid Podcast. That's TA2SQUID podcast, all one word. And it has all the links of different areas of Good Pods to YouTube, Instagram. I'm not even going to go and try to tell you the different names because everything's different on there. And then you get the shop, which is Tattoo Squid Pod. So it's TA2 SQUID.threadless.com, and check that out. There's a bunch of different stuff, and I'm just gonna let you figure out and try to find out what you want to look at, because I'm not gonna go and tell you where to go and look for, even if there is like shower curtains or anything. But
yeah, it's cool though.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one for myself. We could, see if no, I think she said that she wanted to get one anyway. Like a green one that has like a little forest swampy thing, and the squid's in the swamp, and then there's my eyeballs like underneath the squid. So
yeah, I mean, I might do that one day. I'll add some mugs of my face or something, or maybe a shower curtain. So
I haven't done mugs, but yeah. I always buy mugs. I try to get mugs, and and I mean there is mugs, but I mean they're the latte mug, and I got like there's like other mugs, but I haven't really bought one for myself. So
yeah,
might do that. I don't know. But I got one for my girlfriend. She loves the one that it's like the whole green swamp one, and she loves that one. So
yeah.
But folks, this is like it's Monday. Okay, yeah, it is Monday. I completely threw me right off.
Yeah.
So, and this is Santos from 88 Miles Per Hour podcast.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, man, we got it. It's all good. It's like us podcasters with goatees that are very stylish.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, so, yeah, go follow, go search the _designs. I'm actually going to look on there because I want to see some of her kind of shirts probably.
Right on. Well, the underscore is for the Instagram, but if you want to check out the full site, just sanchdesigns.com.
Yeah. Oh, let me just put the deck and then
on the TikTok, if you want to go to check out some skits that I've done and stuff like that with my cosplay character, you could go and check it out on TikTok. It's Han Cholo 2015.
Han Cholo?
2015.
Like Han Solo, but Han Cholo.
Yes, but it's a cholo.
Yeah.
So yeah. But the main thing is sanchdesigns.com.
Wait, Han Cholo, what was it? The whole thing?
2015.
Oh, 2015. Okay. Yeah, I'll be looking it up there because I did one or two little things of remember it was like a Western. Emilio Estevez.
Young Guns, right?
Yeah, Young Guns. And there was like the scene where Emilio Estevez is like he says something to somebody. Every guy he goes, "Hey, all right." He goes, "Is so and so out there with you?" And he goes,
Oh yeah.
He goes, well,
not anymore.
You know.
Yeah.
So I do that whole thing, and I got a bunch of likes for that one. I'm
Oh,
like,
right on. That's awesome.
And then the other one was like, you know, the demon thing. He goes, made a, you know, compel you. He goes, really, Jay? Really? You know, who's gonna compel me? With the like white eyes I put on there, and you know, I miss making all those shits. I used to be a master of it. Now I'm like, but you have to get like 1,000 followers to get, you know, live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on like maybe 200. That's it.
Oh, okay. I got like 17,000.
Motherfucker. Anyway. All right, folks. This white guy over here in the Chicano is going to be going home. You know, he's going to eat. And thanks to me. And, you know, I'm going to maybe help more. I don't know. But let's all have a good day, and well, good night, and happy work week. But I'm going to talk to Santos a little bit before he goes and eats. So, okay, take it easy, folks, and we